2008 dawned cold and cruel at the state prison in Deer Lodge, Montana, Barry Beach's now apparently permanent home. After an unprecedented week-long hearing, the Board of Pardons and Parole had confirmed Barry's 100-year sentence for the 1979 murder of the Pretty High School valedictorian Kim Neese, to the dismay of the team that had been working to free him. Not to mention Barry's mom, Bobby. In fact, for her, the bad news was bookended by even more grief and pain. Days before the board's decision, her husband died, and days after the ruling, her own health gave out.
It was simply a stress-related heart attack, no blockages, thank goodness.
It's like your body forcing you to fall apart.
Right. But I thought, well, God's promised this, so.
There was something rather sad about her unshakable certainty in the face of the long parade of unkept promises. And the defense team at Centurion seemed hardly more realistic than Bobby.
What we decided to do was to go back to court.
Didn't this seem just like almost tilting at windmills at that point?
Hope springs eternal.
What they did was throw a legal Hail Mary, a motion that somehow found its way to Montana's Supreme Court. It asked for the moon, in effect. It asked for a new judge to hear a whole new appeal of Beach's conviction.
Just give us a fair judge. That's all we're asking for.
So they asked, and then they waited. And the request was approved. But it took 3 long years for the next step. The Supreme Court kicked Barry's case to this courthouse in the geographic dead center of Montana, a place called Lewistown, where in August 2010, Barry walked into a courtroom to a chorus of applause. By then, a Dateline report on the murder of Kim Neese had long since aired, turning Barry into something of a celebrity in Montana. Hordes of supporters were waiting for him in the courtroom, along with Judge E. Wayne Phillips.
All right, good morning, everyone.
And another thing our Dateline report had done, turn up new witnesses.
When the whole story was told in the Dateline piece, these witnesses finally decided, you know, I know something that might be able to help out.
That long-running local rumor that the real killers of Kim Neese were actually girls from her own high school class? The judge would hear much more about this. Remember Sissy Atkinson?
That I had no knowledge of it. I was not there.
Not so, said this man, who testified that Sissy herself told him the story several times. Told him about the group of jealous girls, how they hit Kim with a tire iron, rolled her body into a river. Although in a bit of self-deprecating comic relief, the witness admitted he was a bit hazy about it all because during his talks with Sissy, he was a drug addict. He was high. Still,
The bottom line is, I know for a fact girls murdered Kim Neese, and I know he's not a girl.
then there were 2 witnesses who came forward to say they worked with a woman named Joanne Jackson, and that Joanne told them both a similar story about a murder. But it wasn't until they saw the Dateline report that they realized they should come forward and tell authorities exactly what they learned.
She told us about things that happened when she was a teenager, that she and a group of girls took another girl by water. She said they dragged her, beat her, and things got out of hand and she died.
And she kept saying, I was not involved in it, but she knew the girls that had killed this girl. I couldn't believe she was telling me this, and I kind of, Joanne, why would they do this? And she says, she was smart and she was going away to college.
And then finally, the star witness. Her name is Steffi Eagleboy. She was just 10 years old, she said, on that summer night in June 1979, when she sat on the bluff overlooking the Poplar River and heard the sound that has ever since been her recurring nightmare.
I could hear all these girls hollering and saying, get her and get the bitch, and this other girl was saying, don't, please. And it was like they were chasing her or something.
Important stuff. So important that Judge Phillips questioned the witness himself.
And did you hear screaming?
Yes.
What kind of scream?
Like a horrible scream. To me, it was like a high-pitched, angry scream. Hollering. It's something that you won't forget.
Steffi Eagleboy said she never came forward because of the other things she saw from her perch on the bluff that night. Soon after the girls stopped screaming, she said, a police car cruised up to the place where it happened, lingered briefly, and left. So then she wondered, who could she trust? No one. And so until now, she said not one word. Centurion had once again presented what it felt was a powerful case for Barry's innocence.
What did Barry think of the hearings?
We were cautiously optimistic. And now Barry was even more confident than we were. He said, guys, this judge is going to reverse this conviction. He said, I'm convinced of that. I'm going home.
You've been through that sort of thing before.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Denied for 29 years. Let's not get your hopes up too high with the possibility they get smashed again. Then you're going to really go into a deep depression. He says, I'm going home. I just got a good feeling about this judge.
Oh, but good feelings and desired results do not always agree. This was the moment for that old cliche. The jury was out. Except in this case, it was a jury of one. The judge, E. Wayne Phillips. All up to him now.
Coming up, the judge decides.
Did you feel the heavy responsibility, or?
Oh, absolutely. It wears on you. Because somebody died. Kim Neese died. And never, ever forget that.
All those years of no's. Now, might the answer be yes?